Well, so I was actually just about to say I like to test using a unit testing framework in the application level, and not
Ah,
directly in the. I think testing directly in the database is ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a. I mean, I don't see the point, and you can test in the application just as well, and that's really what you want to test anyway.
so one of the things that I do disagree with you on that point.
I know.
Oh, I know, and I may be about to be torn to shreds here. But I like to write my tests in the same language as testing. I know there are a lot of. By the way, someone's got a kid in the background. Is
Yeah, I was
someone
going
going
to
to do the
say
BBC thing
whoever's
in a
got.
minute, where their kid's going to come in and do a dance?
I think it might be Drew. I'm going to mute Drew just in case it's him because I don't see his video.
Okay. So that's thrown me off now. Oh yes, I like the test to be written in the same code as the database, as the thing that you're testing, because who are you writing your test for? You're writing it for yourself, but you're also writing it for anybody else that's going to maintain it. Now, I don't know who's going to be maintaining my code in 2 or 3 years' time. I know that they're going to understand SQL, because if they're maintaining SQL code, then they're probably going to understand SQL. I don't know if they're going to be a .NET developer, and I want them to be able to have tests that they can understand and they can use. And one of the best ways to do that is to make sure it's in the same language as the code that I'm testing. So that's my pitch for why it's a good idea to test in the same place and have the test nicely closely coupled with the things that you're testing.
That's fair, but what I will say is I'm pretty good at T-SQL, and I think writing tests in T-SQL is an absolute bear, even with T-SQL-T. I think it's like forcing a square peg in a round hole kind of thing. The tests in something like NUnit are so much easier. It's so much more mature in terms of the framework. And what depends on that SQL, generally speaking, you don't have people, not always, but generally speaking, you don't have people going directly to the database. You're writing for an application. So in my opinion, test the application.
That's also
That's my
fair.
take. So I think, yeah, different ways of accomplishing the same goal, but that's my argument.
And that's kind of one of my messages from my talk. It's saying, look, there are all sorts of different tools, and I'm not going to stand here and say that this way is right and that way is wrong, because there are different ways that you can do it. You need to do what's right in the context of your organization. But what I wanted to do, I mean, why it's called getting CI right for SQL Server is I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding about what CI is, and that's what I wanted to try and address in my session.
And as for Elvis in Slack, what happens when you rewrite the app? Well, are you rewriting the data layer or are you rewriting the application logic? Because those are different things, hopefully. If you have those two commingled, then what I just said doesn't make sense, but also it doesn't make sense because your architecture doesn't make sense. So again, you have to make sure you're doing the right things.
I have seen people go, we have a Java layer and a .NET layer that both call the same stored procedures, and then you test, I say, you test the stored procedures, but, the reality is it's so hard to do. Eugene, I'm going to minimize your picture there, as cute as it is. Yeah, so Adam, how do you do? So you do your tests in NUnit then?
Yeah, or something similar on the application layer.
Cool. So you have a database behind your unit tests and you run against those?
Yeah, like a well-known, well-understood database that I can set to a known state. Okay. And so I don't have to worry about mocking tables and all this other T-SQL-T stuff.
Which is hard.
Again, it's cool. Did a great job there, but I don't know. I find it's just a lot more, for me at least, a lot more efficient to do that testing in .NET. I mean, I can just write.
One of the other things I like about T-SQL-T, which I'm curious how you would manage if you were from the application, is T-SQL-T is really nice at rolling stuff back for you. So if you do a lot of data manipulation as part of your test, kind of getting the database into the right state beforehand, like that fake table command, for example, how would you address the same challenges if you're doing it from the application layer?
Database snapshot.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep.
Ta-da! That was quick. Well, thanks again to Alex and Adam for hosting today. Looks like the questions have died off on the continuous integration piece. We will now take a break, and we'll all stay here. I mean, I'll go off and do other things and come right back, but I got to go refill my coffee. Up next, in about 25 minutes, is Andrea Allred, I believe. Let me go look and make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. Andrea Allred with a T-SQL for beginners. Adam, you sticking around for that, or you?
I think I'm going to have to bail, but thank you for having me. I'll try to listen, Andrea. I'm not bailing on you. I just have to, unfortunately, do some work. So,
what?
I know, it's crazy. Got to pay the bills for this nice, area that I live in.
Right.
One
William
sunny day this year.
Come here, William. Wave, and everyone say thank you to William, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to do this session today. So thank you very much, William.
And tell him he has really solid internet. That's very good. So.
Oh, and you have really solid internet. Fantastic. I am going to have to head off now because the party beckons. So
yeah, because you have beers. Yeah, go get some beers and brats. Yeah, that sounds
exactly.
Awesome.
And if any of you are near Germany next year, come to SQL Grilling.
It certainly sounds awesome. Yeah, it sounds awesome.
And as I say, there's a medieval festival the following day, which is going to be quite a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like workman's comp insurance for me. Like, it sounds like I'm going to go injure myself with a spear or a club. I'm not. Anytime I get near a spear or something like that, I'm going to be in trouble. So.
What's not to like about spear?
I pay actually money to see you, Brent, at a Ren fair.
I'm going to quote you on that out of context, Brent. So.
The other great thing about Germany, Brent, is you can drive here on the Autobahn.
Yes. And the people are super friendly. The food is good. The beer is great. Everything's efficient. Yeah, it is impressive. It's a neat country. Cool. That's one I got to get back to.
I need to head off, but thanks very much for having me, Brent. I really appreciate it. And
adios, folks. Adios. So, looks like we got in Slack, we got Pinal and Andrea, and let's see if they're already in. So, Andrea's in as an attendee. Let me go promote her to, or not. All right, here, I'll let you guys talk shop while I go figure out how GoToWebinar works.
You would think that Brent would be in GoToWebinar enough that he would know how to do this. Just saying, Brent. Just saying.
I feel like if anybody's the expert, it's him.
Well, it's not me, that's for sure.
Same.
Oh my goodness, I'm unmuted.
What?
It's Andrea. Oh my gosh.
Here she comes. Dun 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 dun. And Pinal should be an organizer here in a second too as well. And it was funny because Pinal was asking Andrea on Twitter, all right, which princess are you going to be dressed as? She is! There you go.
Yay! It is. I did full princess dress today. I debated because I was like, oh, jeans would be so great today. But
well, you could wear jeans underneath, but then that's,
Oh, I'm totally changing as soon as I get out of this.
Why wear pants? I mean, I'm at the office. I don't have pants on.
Right? Who
because
has to
Drew
wear pants?
No, yeah, Drew works at an adult film company, so he goes off.
Okay, so that's totally safe. Gotcha.
Good afternoon, Pinal. How's it going?
Very, very good. Awesome. Good morning to everybody. I'm excited. I see Princess. I think I will just have to go and call my daughter for a brief moment.
You need to. You need to.
Yay!
This is the stuff that people get excited about. All right, I'm gonna go warm up my coffee. I will be right back. I'll leave it in the
I'll be right back as well.
Oh, now everyone immediately starts and bails. Pinal's just gonna get this started.
I can
Richie,
filter.
Well, Andrea, make sure you remember my advice from Twitter.
I will absolutely do this. Like, if Brent can do it, so can I.
Exactly.
If Brent can do it, it probably means you shouldn't. That's what that usually means.
And I'm not. Oh, hello. Oh, Pinal, you're muted.
You're muted. Pinal, we can't hear you.
I just got my daughter, and she's so excited because she said, "Oh, I've been telling her that she needs to stay up to see a princess." Now my question is, which princess you see? And she is wondering. She says Elsa, so I think you are Elsa today.
Yes.
Oh, but
I will be Elsa today.
But Elsa is blue, isn't it? Then she is wearing different color of clothes. So who is she? Okay, her definitely tiara is of Elsa, but the dress is of maybe Rapunzel. No. Okay, you go to sleep. Maybe we'll discuss tomorrow.
Maybe Elsa
Say
needed
bye.
a new dress.
Goodbye. Yeah. You can close the door.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was just saying up because I've been telling her that she may encounter a princess, and she's been like, which princess? And I was like, I have to yet to figure it out. That's your area, that's your subject, and yes, and you will just tell her. And so that's why she was doing homework. She has a magazine, she has a book where she can go through all the princess pictures. So she was just going through that when I called her.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, we are back to the sequel. So, yeah, I would let you guys talk, and maybe I'll partner, but I'm so happy. So I'm here too. Yes.
I'm thrilled you're here. Go ahead.
What's funny is that you're not the only princess floating around the technical world. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know this.
Yes. So we interviewed a woman who works for Microsoft, and in her spare time, her name's Casey Champion, and in her spare time, she has a little side business where she does birthday parties dressed as Cinderella or Elsa or kind of whatever.
I did see that, and I listened to that interview. It was fantastic. I don't do it for pay, but in my spare time, I do volunteer as Cinderella or different princesses. I usually do it for, like, one that I'm doing in a couple of weeks. It's for a care clinic that's for people that don't have insurance or insufficient insurance, and they do dental checkups and medical checkups, mainly for children. It's awesome. I've been doing that for a while. And then also the YWCA in Salt Lake City. I do that one too. So
there you go.
It's super fun.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Richie.
absolutely my favorite conversations with Casey. She was great. Does a lot with teaching high schools, so she's just totally awesome. And she could quote Hamilton more than I can, so loved her to death.
Did you see the meme, the Alabama Hammerman? My name is Alabama Hammerton.
Oh, jeez.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, last year for the playoffs, for the Cubs playoffs, someone did the team from Clark and Addison, which is where Wrigley Field is, and they did a whole video of the whole thing, and that just blew my mind. It was amazing.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
So I have one question for Andrea as we are talking about it. Has it ever happened that kids has run to you and said, give us autograph, or they have asked for your photograph?
Oh, yeah.
Because
I get it a lot.
my daughter would have done it. My daughter would have totally done it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do get it a lot. It depends. If I'm dressed as Cinderella, I will sign Cinderella. Sorry, Disney. If there was one time I was dressed as Rapunzel, and so I signed Rapunzel. It just depends on which princess I'm dressed as. If I'm just dressed as like me, I'll just sign like princess, or if they say a name, I'll sign that name for them. But the most often is kids come running up for pictures, and the moms are so cute because they're like, I'm so sorry, we've just been to Disneyland and they really want a picture. I'm like, it's totally fine, I don't mind. So I love doing the pictures, and it's never a big deal. It's just always fun. It's funny to see people at PASS go, can I get a picture? And I love it because I love taking pictures with people at PASS, and so when other people want to do it, I'm like, yes! I'm not the only one.
So one time I was sitting and thinking it would be so nice to hear a presentation from you where you talk about Princess and how it directly aligns with SQL Server properties. Like Rapunzel, I was thinking, or there was a one. I'm not so great, but I'm learning with my daughter. She tells me a story like Rapunzel has a and she was locked into some place, so maybe something with security. One day I was thinking about lost authentication, like Cinderella's shoes, right? I was just thinking about it. Maybe you can come up with some really, really catchy presentation where all these princess did something and they directly aligns with SQL Server. I think we will never forget that presentation.
Okay, I'm totally going to do that because I love that idea and it sounds super fun and totally geeky, which is totally right up my alley. So, yeah,
right.
I'm putting that on my list.
Exactly. My daughter said, what will her favorite is Elsa, so everybody's Elsa. So she was asking me, what is the Elsa? And I told her, I said, Elsa is a snapshot isolation. She said, why? I said, even I'm not sure. I need to go and... this is where I need to also work hard and figure it out. Because she was like frozen. Yes, exactly. But I was thinking about you when and I was like, whenever I see it, I think this one time I need to talk to you about this idea about presentation. That would be so cool. Not only kids, but I think adults will be thrilled because everybody know about princesses.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be really fun. I like this idea. So, yeah, I'm totally stealing it. I will credit you, but I'm totally stealing it.
Please do. It's already, I mean, this is something only you can pull it off. If I would do that, I like this idea. I have all this thing. I go out and do this thing. I know I'm going to be, I don't know. I think I'll keep quiet. Yeah. There are points I learned to not speak much.
I like it. Yeah, it could have been a panel discussion. Pinal, Andrea, yeah.
We could
Everybody
do that.
could be wearing princess dresses. It would be amazing.
Yeah. Do it on Kilt Day.
Oh, yeah, that would totally work. Or you could, guys could dress up like a prince instead of princesses.
Or frogs. Frogs
works.
Yeah, frogs work,
yeah. All green.
We could just have all kinds of characters that the princess encounters.
Witches. Yeah. Oh, there could be so many.
Oh my gosh, we could do a full-on sequel play.
Oh, this is getting bad. Yep. And especially with it being Halloween this year, so yeah. See, this would have been a good year to do it.
It's too late.
Yeah. Between it being too late and a bunch of people not going in for Halloween, maybe we got to watch out for this for next year, our own Halloween.
I am one of those that won't be making it because of Halloween, and I feel really bad. So, I know.
I'm not going. I don't feel bad at all.
I feel bad because I really enjoy Pass. It is like my time to recharge, and I love spending time with people. I actually don't make very many classes. I end up listening to it all later because I'm so busy talking to people.
Yeah.
Don't tell my boss.
Richie calls it the hallway track. Well, I think it's super valuable because, and I think even as bosses, when I see our people in conferences, I'm like, no, go talk in the hallway track because the connections that you make are going to help you anytime you have a problem for the rest of your life.
Yes. There's been so many times when I've been like, I am totally stuck, but I know exactly who can help me fix this, and they're usually super nice about it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Terry used to joke about she had one instance where she had a corruption problem before she came to work here. She had a corruption problem, and she posted it on Twitter, and Paul Randall helped her fix it. And her, coworkers are like, "What? How is this a thing?" Get some good help out there.
I love the SQL community. Just the last. It's always a super awesome support, but getting ready for this, everyone was super nice and super helpful, and I was like, yes, this is what I needed, and I love the community. It gives me all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it's very open, and I see a lot of other communities that aren't anywhere near as open and giving and sharing as the server community is.
Any developer community, I know something about that.
Well, no, so aren't they? I thought most of them were good. Are they not as much as open as the... Really?
They definitely have an underbelly to it, right? So if you have a not thought out idea, there'll be those that are going to just destroy you in a post or whatever. The SQL community is a lot softer with stuff like that. There's been vicious flame wars, and even I've seen in Drupal communities and things like that just they almost tear themselves apart because they have just such strong philosophies on things, things like that.
Definitely, it's definitely more of an alpha dog thing I've seen.
Oh.
Show me your codes. Your codes suck. Ah!
That's
Well,
good. Good.
I've just noticed the difference between the Oracle community, local in Utah, to get Oracle presenters to come out to, like, we do Big Mountain Data here, and so we combine SQL Server with a bunch of different, like, big data and a bunch of different data solutions. To get Oracle people to present is like pulling teeth. Like, they just don't want to share their knowledge, or they don't want to give their time, and you can get so many SQL presentations and so many, like, big data presentations, but Oracle is near impossible. I think we had one last
You
time.
have to pay their consulting rates. That's the problem.
It does seem like in that database there's a lot of the "I don't want you to take my job" mentality. Like, it's very tribal knowledge, and people aren't going to pass it around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's
Speaking of Cinderella, did you hear my Cinderella story when I used to work at Disney?
everyone's face froze
Yes.
when you went.
Yes, I
speaking of
did.
Cinderella.
I did, and I laughed really, really hard. But I think you should tell it for the people here because
So should I share my Cinderella story that I had 20 years ago when I went working at Disney? All right. So it was my first time at Disney. I was working there as a summer intern in the IT department, and everybody goes through a class. From upper levelment to the bottom, it's a class called Traditions. Don't know if they still do it now, but they probably do. It's a day and a half. So they have like 8 hours of this is our history, this is how we do work, this is you should be shaving your face, you do all this other stuff, right? So they kind of sprinkle the Disney pixie dust on you. Then the next day you actually go into the park, the Magic Kingdom, and they kind of give you a guest experience. And so they send you through the tunnels, and they show you the tunnels, and the garbage is whizzing over your head at 60 miles an hour, and you kind of walk out there, you ride a ride, and you kind of see what the guest sees, and they're pointing out all these little things and how they make the magic of the whole thing. They even take you by the character zoo, which they don't if you do a regular tour of it. Everyone's putting on their head.
Zoo. Oh.
Character zoo. That's where they all get dressed up in the characters and do all that stuff. So it was all really cool, right? So at the end of the tour, we're all going off to lunch in the cafeteria in the underground, right? So I get my stuff and I go and I sit down, and I didn't know anybody, so I just kind of sat at my own table, and then all of a sudden I look straight ahead of me, and there's Cinderella. She's having lunch, right? And so she's got her full makeup on. She doesn't have the poof in her dress. That's off, so the petticoat is off, and she then just raises her hand to her lips and then takes a puff on a cigarette and then blows it out. And I'm like, oh, my God, the magic is dead. There is nothing. Cinderella is – I mean, it was over. At that point, the magic was – it's all made up. It's all make-believe. There's Cinderella smoking a cigarette in the cafeteria.
See, I love that, though. I mean, because it makes them real people, because it makes you think that Cinderella has a job. She goes out. I adore that. I would love to see Goofy, like, hang on, I'm going to the bathroom. I love it. Just fantastic. Yeah.
I get a lot of people going, "Where's your pumpkin?" And I'm like, "Do you know how hard it is to find a pumpkin this time of year? Like, it's."
See, I'm so tempted to immediately find it and get an empty pumpkin pie can. Bring it around. No, Pinal, what were you going to say?
I said you should just say it's you.
Oh.
Or get a guy with an orange shirt.
Well, like a carriage. Like, they expect me to get into a carriage and leave, and so, I mean, when I'm in the full Cinderella dress, it is a big production. Like, it's huge. It's super fun, but it's huge, and I have glass slippers. I have the whole thing. And people are like, "Well, where's the mice? Where's your prince? Where's this? Where's that?" And so I have to come up with all these answers to the questions. It's like, "Oh, my prince is home taking care of the mice. They were just having a rough day, and all this stuff. And they're really shy. They don't like to come out and visit people. And then the whole, where's your carriage? Oh, do you know how hard it is to find a pumpkin this time of year? And my fairy godmother said she wasn't making one for this time, and different things like that. Like, it's, and where'd you get your dress? I have to be like, "Oh, my fairy godmother made it for me."
Mm-hmm. God, see, so the first time I met Andrea in person, we were at the past summit, and I'm getting ready to present, and Andrea just comes walking up, like the room's almost full, and Andrea just comes walking up the thing, and I'm like completely, what do you even say to someone who's a full-blown princess? I'm like, how does this, and the fact that someone else can come up with questions, I'm like, I was so...
Please tell me you were in a Bob Dylan costume while she was in a princess costume.
No.
Tell me that happened.
It was the same year, but it was when I was just doing the regular session part of it. Yeah. And I'm just like, can someone get a picture of us? Because I'm like, I know.
Well, and the best part was there was like no seating left, and Brent's like, "Can someone make way for the princess?" And people are like, "I can." Like, there was so many people. It was super awesome. I was like, "Yes, I can get a seat."
The first thing I have to ask myself if I see anybody in costume is, all right, did I take any drugs this morning?
Did I take any different drugs this morning?
I have to elbow somebody. I'm like, are you seeing this? Because I need to make sure.
Mental note: always say no. No, Drew. Well, what are you talking about, man? Okay, you're right.
No.
So has it ever happened that you said something about princess and somebody said that's wrong? Maybe you don't have that. I mean, you thought and somebody corrected you. Is it ever happened? A kid corrected you with your knowledge for princess?
There was one time, I can never remember the name of the little newt that goes with Rapunzel. I can never remember it.
Pascal.
That's it, Pascal. I can never remember it. And so, All right,
I'm done here.
So I can see that you guys are very well suited to present together. The three of you are all ready to go. Wow. Pascal the Newt.
Yeah, that's the one that's hard for me, is that I can never remember the name of that. I can remember just about everything else, and I can, fudge just about everything else, but that's the one that always gets me.
Pascal,
this comes up often?
It's a language. I mean, geez. It's like having a spider named Cobalt, right? I mean, who can forget that?
Well, I think there's a painter, too, named Pascal, and that's why it's like, yeah, I should be able to remember it. I just can't. It always escapes my brain.
Wow. So, Drew, how do you know that by heart?
Oh, man. So my wife and I, we don't have kids, but we do a lot of babysitting for people who do, and we've seen that movie a lot.
Oh my goodness, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You get your favorites. Mm-hmm.
Of all the movies to watch, that one isn't terrible. Like I'm so over Frozen, I can't do it anymore. I retch. I can't. My body can't do it anymore.
Drew, just let it go, okay?
I don't know how many times I have watched the Frozen. I think it's unlimited time. I keep on watching it. Anytime I go out, kids comes, my daughter want to watch it. Even I celebrated my daughter's birthday with a Frozen theme where we made even Indian food of the color of the light blue and blue and things. It was just crazy. Yeah, I mean, so if any of you on my Facebook, go back and check it last year. I mean, Frozen, everything blue, and what we did for my daughter. I think I learned everything in and out about that movie.
I took a picture of Brent's hotel a couple weeks ago in front of the Frozen ride, so go back and check that out.
This is true. And I was so tempted to, I didn't quite get it in time. I wanted to run outside and go take a picture towards you and just say, I see you, but I couldn't quite get it in time. Yeah. Oh. All right, so switching over and making Andrea the presenter so she can share her desktop. Oh my goodness, it's a Stack Overflow database. I know and love. Oh, and it's a 2017 theme, which I absolutely.
Right?
SSMS 2017 looks fantastic.
It does, and I just installed it like a week ago for this, and I was like, this is awesome, and I was having so much fun with it, and thankfully, like, all the basic stuff is still there, so I didn't have to change anything for the demo. I was super excited.
Very nice, very nice.
I see the princess theme is still going on here, A New Hope, right?
Yep,
if it was
absolutely.
Return of the Jedi, then you had to be in the slave Leia costume. I don't know if that would go over very well with the past.
Yeah, that doesn't work for this one.